In this episode of Air Trip USA, we start in St. Augustine, Florida, flying to Nashville, where we visit the Grand Ole Opry, experience a total eclipse on the way to St. Louis, visiting Mount Rushmore, before exploring the surrounding area of Denver, cross the Royal George Bridge, to experience a concert in the Red Rock Theater, and drive on the more than 14,000 feet high Pikes Peak.
I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I breathe the mountain air, man. I've traveled, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Reno, Chicago, Fargo, Minnesota, Buffalo, Toronto, Winslow, Sarasota, Wichita, Tulsa, Ottawa, Oklahoma, Tampa, Panama, Mattawa, La Paloma, Bangor, Baltimore, Salvador, Amarillo, Tocopilla, Barranquilla, and Padilla. I'm a killer. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts, man. I breathe the mountain air, man. Travel, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere.
Right on the Atlantic in the north of Florida, St. Augustine is located. It was founded by the Spanish Admiral Pedro Mendez de Aviles on August 28, 1565. It is the oldest city in the USA. One of the city's most imposing structures is today's Flagler College. In 1888, the building was designed by millionaire Harry Morrison Flagler, completed as Ponce de Leon Hotel. The circular entrance hall with a mosaic floor is supported by wooden carved pillars. Two up-rejuvenating galleries carry a dome over 65 feet in height, whose hand painting was extensively restored in 2015. Even if it does not look like this, the hotel was made completely from mold concrete. Opposite is the Casa Monica Hotel and the Leitner Museum, also built by Henry Flagler as Hotel Alcazar. Today St. Augustine also lives on tourism. In the last 20 years, the number of visitors increased constantly. Especially American tourists like to visit their oldest city. The today even more Spanish than American-looking city invites more and more restaurants to linger. The offer is varied and should offer something for every taste and budget. The heart of Old Town still forms St. George Street. Several small passages lead from her to countless shops, with small sides like old mechanical vending machines. The season is here all year long, tourists in summer and snowbirds in winter. The people who escape the cold here in winter. Many old buildings, such as this 18th century British colonial store, which is now a pub, put you back in the early days of America. Near the city gates stands the oldest wooden schoolhouse in the USA, built of red cedar over 200 years ago. Downstairs the classroom and above the teacher's apartment. Idyllically designed cafes invite you to rest with a piece of cake and coffee. In 1668, the Spanish royal family decided to build a fortification to protect the city. The Castillo de San Marcos is a national monument since 1924 and is one of the attractions in today's St. Augustine. The Bridge of Line crosses the intracoastal waterway and connects the city with the offshore islands. The current lighthouse stands on the site of an old Spanish watchtower and is the oldest permanent navigation device in North America. 219 steps lead today's visitors to an airy view over America's oldest city. And this is where our journey begins. The Cessna 210 is ready to go. Everything is checked, the tanks are full, and the 300 horsepowers let us take off from the Northeast Regional Airport. The 210 is a single-engine, high-wing aircraft with variable pitch propeller and retractable landing gear. It can transport up to 6 people plus luggage effortlessly and is over 180 miles per hour fast. With a final look at St. Augustine, our more than 6,300 miles journey across the North American continent begins. In 3 weeks we will land here safe, richer of many impressions. Heading northwest, we leave Florida, passing through Georgia, past Atlanta, continuing for over 430 miles to Tennessee. What would Nashville be without a visit to the Grand Ole Opry, the mecca of country and western music? The since 1925 weekly transmitted country music concerts have been cult status for years. In March 1974, the radio show moved to the new 4,400-seat concert hall on the Cumberland River. The shows are still broadcasted by the American radio station WSM and the broadcast television channel Great American Country Network.
Please make welcome the fabulous Riders in the Sky! I love songs for you tonight. It's all about horses and ghosts. An old cowboy went riding out one dark and windy day. Upon a ridge he rested as he rode along his way, when all at once a mighty herd of red-eyed cows he saw. Ghost herd in the sky. Their horns are black and shiny and their hooves are made of steel. On your face and we'll go back. I can't see a thing with these on either, by the way. Here we go. 1978.
On the eve of the total solar eclipse, everything revolves around this event, not only here. Nashville's Broadway is packed with thousands of tourists visiting the eclipse, in addition to the country fans, which anyway on weekends the innumerable music clubs and honky-tonk bars are visiting. In the vicinity of the Umbra, all hotels are fully booked. Even almost 120 miles away, there is hardly a free room left. It looks like that all 1.8 million inhabitants of the Nashville metropolitan area have come to Tennessee's capital today to celebrate on the eve of this centenary event. We too plunge into the crowd and roam the many bars. Country legend Jimmy Rogers started performing in bars along Broadway near the river in the 1930s. His success eventually attracted other performers and a thriving music scene developed on Lower Broadway. The popularity of Broadway declined for a time after the Grand Ole Opry left Ryman Auditorium in 1974. Today the historical buildings are home to retail shops and restaurants in addition to honky-tonks. The official Nashville Convention and Visitors Corporation page defines a honky-tonk as an establishment that contains at least one rocking stage, cold beverages, and a party that lasts all day, every day. Live music plays in most bars and restaurants along Lower Broadway, from as early as 10 a.m. to 3 a.m. or even later each day. which is how the street came to be known as Honky Tonk Highway. Established music artists sometimes make appearances to perform with young talents. Many famous stars have gotten their start in these venues. In the many Western stores you can perfectly complete your outfit for the evening.
You'll believe me when I say I love you, and I'll lay these roads.
The live music at Margaritaville ranges from country classics to Jimmy Buffett-style tunes and interactive shows that get the crowd in on the act. The show in the Grand Ole Opry is slowly coming to an end, and we are preparing for tomorrow's event. The eclipse can come.
Hope you have a wonderful day on Monday during the eclipse. We thank you for being with us at the Grand Ole Opry and hope you'll come back again real soon everybody. Good night. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it.
Our glasses are ready. The sun is still shining in full glory on our Cessna while we take off south of Nashville at the Pryor Field Regional Airport. Since we want to get an unclouded view to the sun, we climb over the clouds to 10,500 feet altitude. In our airspace, still hundreds of other planes are flying, but they all remain below the clouds. She is still in full glory and nothing points to that upcoming event. A total solar eclipse is only possible at new moon. Therefore, nothing is yet to be recognized by him, until it slowly gets darker around us. The diameter of the umbra is 70 miles. It's getting darker. On the horizon you can see its extent well. There it is still bright. At about 1,550 miles per hour, the shadow races over the Earth. For 2 minutes and 40 seconds, the full coverage of the sun lasts. Then the moon releases the sun and it's getting brighter again. The whole spectacle lasts a total of 2 hours and 45 minutes, from the beginning of the dimming to the full release of the sun. We continue our journey to St. Louis and fly the remaining 160 miles to the northwest in best weather conditions. Slowly the clouds are getting denser, as if they had allowed a clear view for the solar eclipse. We no longer have to fly so high. We reduce our cruising altitude to get under the clouds. Now it's time to prepare for the landing in St. Louis and then explore the city. The Jefferson National Expansion Memorial, also known as Gateway Arch, is the main attraction of St. Louis. Its location marks the starting point of the Lewis and Clark expedition. It was the United States' first American overland expedition to the Pacific coast and back. In the 630 feet high archway is a viewing platform. It's accessed by two special elevators, each consisting of 8 cabins, each with a capacity of 5 people. Only 140 people can stay upstairs at the same time. You should buy tickets in good time or reserve them the day before for a certain visit time. Completed in 1967, the monument cost $11 million and weighs nearly 40,000 tons. The old courthouse, built in 1864, no longer serves as a courthouse today. It still houses parts of the Westward Expansion Museum. It shows the history of St. Louis from the French occupation to the present day. Leslie's Landing is a cobblestone area with old brick and cast iron war houses from 1850 to 1900, converted into shops and restaurants. Its location on the Mississippi and Missouri River makes St. Louis a major player in the transportation of bulk commodities such as grain, coal, salt, certain chemicals and petroleum products. It's getting dark for the second time that day. Unfortunately, it was only a short visit to the city of the World's Fair and the 1904 Summer Olympics. The clouds had increased during the night. At the start at St. Louis Downtown Airport, we stay below the cloud cover to take another look at the Gateway Arch while flying north along the Mississippi River. We decided to fly over the clouds. Engine power, propeller revolutions and gas-air mixture are set. The propeller rotates at 2,500 revolutions per minute. We leave the Mississippi and Missouri River, direction Omaha, over the Great Plains, the granary of the USA, to Rapid City. For 750 miles, we fly over seemingly endless fields. As far as the eyes can see, only square plots with wheat, corn and millet.
But as we passed the big sky driving, his eyes began to flash. He was leaving Rapid City mighty fast. He said, I hope to God she finds a goodbye letter that I wrote her. Cause the mail don't move too fast in Rapid City, South Dakota.
Finally, we reached the Black Hills in South Dakota. From 1927 to 1941, monumental portraits of the most important US presidents were carved into Mount Rushmore. From there, they are easiest to find through the parking spaces and the visitor center. Nearly 2 million visitors see the 60 feet tall portraits of George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt and Abraham Lincoln each year.
Fiddler sold her as he left her there alone in Rapid City, South Dakota. Now the reason he was going, I'm not sure I can say. Might have been the rodeo instead of pay. There's a doctor in Chicago, I know she'll be alright.
In the evening you have the opportunity to look at the illuminated sculptures from the amphitheater. On the presidential way, you get closer to the heads of the presidents, who is not scared off from a few stairs, can get almost to the statues.
In Rapid City, South Dakota, all her people treating her just like they never knowed her. Lord, the winter passes slow in Rapid City, South Dakota.
Last night our Cessna spent in the hangar of a maintenance shop. The hydraulic fluid was to be checked and refilled. The landing gear and other important systems are operated by it. Everything is checked and we can start at the Rapid City Regional Airport. The airport is 3,200 feet high and its runway is 8,700 feet long, big enough to be served by various airlines regularly. At an airspeed of about 65 miles per hour, the 210 lifts off. Takeoff is at full power. After 5 minutes at most, you have to throttle the gas to 75%. More is not allowed according to the manufacturer. At up to 140 miles per hour, we climb to our cruising altitude. Then you can fly on with just over 186 miles. The weather is beautiful, and in the distance, beyond Rapid City, the foothills of the Black Hills are to be seen. Before we reach our current destination, Denver, Colorado, we make a short detour to a natural monument. The Devil's Tower, known from many feature films, not least Steven Spielberg's Encounter of the Third Kind, consists of volcanic rock. It looks like a bunch of pencils held together by gravity. But 330 miles later, we reach Denver. Due to its location at over 5,280 feet, it is also called the Mile High City. We received the clearance for runway 30 right from the Denver Rocky Mountain Airport Tower.
Checked into a cheap hotel, fell asleep, holding each other close. We just knew in our hearts.
After landing, the friendly ground staff guided us to our parking position. Now, just turn off the engine, prepare the plane for the night, and drive into town. The 16th Street Mall is located in the heart of the more than 600,000 people great city. It is 1.25 miles in length, where you can visit over 300 shops and more than 50 restaurants. The idea to create a mall on the 16th Street in Denver began as early as 1959, but was not given serious consideration until 1971. In 2016, Denver was recognized as the most livable place in the US.
Moved a little higher in the Rockies. Decided I would try my hand picking up the pieces that she left. Well, Lord, it didn't take long to realize that higher ain't always better. And it's awful cold and lonely when you're king of the mountain all by yourself. First year in Denver, we were as happy as
Hard Rock Cafe features rock and roll memories from all genres, including historic concerts of the Red Rock Theatre, great food, happy hour and live music every Friday night. But demonstrations are also part of the picture of the street, as on World Topless Day. Here women and men are fighting for equal rights. This also means that everyone may run topless around. By car, about 30 minutes west, are the Boulder Falls. A 100 yards path leads to a cliff in the Boulder Canyon. Climbing is forbidden here, but not all signs are always observed. North Boulder Creek is one of the most beautiful waterfalls near Denver. Although they are only about 100 feet high, but the combination of the narrow canyon, huge ponderosa pines and the streaming waterfall makes it a great place to visit with friends and family. Here and in the nearby parks, such as the Rocky Mountain National Park, plants and animals can be seen undisturbed in their natural environment. In the area of over 265 acres, more than 4 million visitors seek rest and relaxation each year. In 1976, the park was awarded by UNESCO as one of the first biosphere reserves in the world. The Rocky Mountain National Park is one of the nation's highest national parks. The climate of the park is also influenced by the Continental Divide. It runs from northwest to southeast through the center of the park on the high peaks. The Continental Divide creates two distant climate patterns, one typical of the east side near State Park and the other also related to the Great Lake area on the west side of the park. The Chapel of the Rock, officially St. Catherine of Siena Chapel, is a Catholic chapel and a landmark in the Allens Park. By car, we drive 120 miles to the south to a completely different attraction, the Royal George Bridge. It is located near Canyon City and is one of the highest bridges in the world. A cable car with 3 gondolas was put into operation in 2015 and replaces the old cable car, which was destroyed in 2013 along with parts of the wooden planking of the bridge. It makes it possible to see the bridge, which crosses the whitewaters of the Arkansas River at an altitude of 955 feet in its full size.
When he first came to the mountains, his life was far away, on the road, hanging by a song. But the string's already broken, and he doesn't really care. It keeps changing fast, and it don't last for long.
The bridge was from its time of its completion in 1929 to the year 2001 the highest in the world. The Royal George Bridge was built as a tourist attraction and part of an amusement park and never served as a street. In 2003, she lost the title of the highest suspension bridge. However, it remains the highest bridge in the US. By the end of the 19th century, the Denver and Rio Grande Railway built a narrow gauge railway through the Rocky Mountains, a technical feat at that time. It leads from Pueblo to Salida.
He climbed Cathedral Mountains, he saw silver clouds below. He saw everything as far as you can see.
The cable car ends at the southern edge of the canyon, which is just 6,560 feet above sea level. In a few minutes, you have covered the almost 760-yard long route. Here you can, if you have the courage for an adrenaline kick, with America's highest zip line floating through the air. You have to be at least 10 years old and weight between 100 and 245 pounds to enjoy the view into the depth. $45 extra cost.
In the Colorado Rocky Mountain High, I've seen it rain and fire in the sky. Talk to God and the
Whitewater friends can also experience the bridge from a different perspective on guided tours.
Rocky Mountain High, Colorado, Rocky Mountain High.
The bridge is 420 yards long. Cars may cross the bridge, but only before and after the operating hours of the park. During this, it is only possible as a pedestrian or by golf carts. 2,100 steel wires twisted into two thick cables pass over four 150 feet high steel lattice towers anchored to concrete abutments at both ends of the bridge. The wind blows very violently when you cross the 1,292 wooden planks.
Though he'd be a poor man if he never saw an eagle fly. Rocky Mountain High.
In the visitor center you can buy all the tickets for the attractions of the park, including the Segway rides. For the physical well, there are enough snacks and restaurants. Also, you can stay here overnight. The Plaza Theater shows a journey back to the beginning of the park. Also, a locomotive from the year 1902 can be admired. Since construction, around 26 million visitors have visited the park.
Rocky Mountain High. Rocky Mountain High, Rocky Mountain
From Colorado Springs, we drive 28 miles to Pikes Peak. Colorado Springs is the second largest city in Colorado. Colorado Springs was founded in August 1871 by General William Palmer, a hero of the American Civil War. Old buildings, such as the Pioneer County office from the time of the gold rush at Pikes Peak, are still preserved. The area of Old Colorado City along Colorado Avenue used to be the shopper's paradise for gold hunters. Today, cafes and restaurants line the street.
Among the Rockies, where mountain thunders cry, now the wind from off the mountains wails a sad goodbye. Once in Colorado Springs, at the foot of old Pikes Peak, I met a Rocky Mountain girl. To my soul, her heart did speak.
Created in 2011 by spray paint from Jason Borman, this mural depicts the history, roots and influence of Old Colorado City.
The next day I took her with me to my far-off Iowa home. Way out on the
Driving up a mountain by car is nothing special, but 14,115 feet high already.
each footstep we took was happy, or at least
We leave the Crystal Creek Reservoir behind us and soon we reach the tree line at 12,500 feet. Every year since 1916, a mountain race has been held on the 156 corners. The record for the nearly 12.5 miles route has been 7 minutes and 57 seconds since 2018. You are searching for crash barriers here in Wayne. But you have to pay extra attention to another factor, the altitude sickness. As the altitude increases, the air pressure and thereby the partial pressure of oxygen decreases. The blood vessels in the lungs narrow and thus the oxygen content in the blood. Shortness of breath, dizziness and nausea can be the consequences. It does not matter if you are young or old, trained or untrained. The only way to prevent this is a slow ascent and a setting in phase above 6,500 feet. Also, the engine of our car affects the height. Less oxygen reduces engine performance. With an unpowered car, you should therefore refrain from such a tour.
Where she was gone. I'd known that lately she had been sad. Women sometimes.
Another bend and we have reached the summit.
I hadn't guessed how much was wrong until that fatal day. She had left a weeping letter, homesick with mountain names. She was somewhere in the Rockies, and I knew I'd been to blame. So now, in Colorado Springs, I wait near old Pikes Peak, where once I met a mountain girl, that mountain girl I seek. She came from the mountains, Rocky Mountains, Eagle High. She's from...
Another possibility to reach the summit would have been the highest cock railway in the world since 1891. Unfortunately, it was shut down in October 2017 until unknown time due to repairs.
Among the Rockies, where mountain thunders cry, now the wind.
Colorado City, more than 8,000 feet below us, is clearly visible to the east.
Wails a sad goodbye.
In the evening, the musical conclusion of this day waited for us. The Red Rock Theatre is an open-air stage embedded in 2 sandstone cliffs, completed as early as 1941. 9,400 spectators find space here. This place is known for its outstanding acoustics. Many great artists came and appear here. Among them were the Beatles, who played here in 1964. Tonight it's a Beatles revival band reminiscent of this legendary concert. The tributes are playing Buck Owens' classic, Act Naturally. This event ends the first part of our journey through the United States of America.
They're gonna make a big star out of me. Make a film about a man that's sad and lonely. And all I gotta do is act naturally. Well, I'll bet you I'm gonna be a big star. Like when an Oscar, you can never tell. The movie's gonna make me a big star.
already seen a lot, but much more awaited us. Continuing to Yellowstone National Park, you'll see geysers like Old Faithful and wild bison herds. Across the Great Salt Lakes at Salt Lake City, our way will lead us to the Burning Man Festival and Lake Tahoe. The next big city will be San Francisco. We will admire the largest creatures on Earth, the sequoia trees.
I breathe the mountain air, man. I travel, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere.
Visiting the Hoover Dam after exploring Los Angeles, and trying our luck in Las Vegas.
I'm a killer, I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I breathe the mountain air, man. Travel, I've had my share, man.